Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Premier League is fucking us. It's Gabos Sports. If you don't know, get to know. You won't probably. How can you get to know? Our streaming schedule is so sporadic. Our uploads are so enigmatic that we just kind of fucking do this when we feel like it. And I know the dust is a little bit settled on the weekend's activities, but to be honest with you, nothing's settled until we've had our say. I'm joined, as per usual, by the midfield engine, cover every blade of grass, never take a sick day. Mr. Boots is in the building.
You know it is, aka Patty V, man.
Patty V.
And then
I'm not sure if Patty V would have made the lineup on Sunday, bro. I'm not sure if he had the tactical discipline required to follow that. I reckon he would have lashed out and two-footed Mike Oliver. Without any further ado, well, actually, first of all, we're going to get back to regular streaming. We're going to figure out some sort of a schedule. There's been babies. There's been, all sorts of shenanigans that we will travel, all that sort of stuff. So we'll figure out. Summer's over. We're entering the busy period. So, man, without any further ado, this time for real, City, Arsenal at the Etihad. Boots, obviously, we've written paragraphs and paragraphs and had debates off cam. Now that you've had a chance to cool down, I've had a chance to cool down personally. What do you make of it all, man?
So I guess we can start from the jump. We can start with the first 10 seconds where Havertz just smashes into Rodri, who I think is baiting him, by the way. Rodri throughout that whole, throughout the game, throughout the minutes that he was on the pitch, was just trying to bait fouls. He was just doing Rodri things. And that kind of set the precedent for the game. First 20, I felt like, bro, this could be long for us. Because I came into the, obviously, as you know, I came into the fixture very optimistic. Like, I believe that we could win the game and get all 3 points. Mm-hmm. After the first, within the first 20, I was thinking, bro, we're looking so off the pace, especially the left side. I know it's his debut. It's not an easy place to start. Make your first start at the Etihad for Calafiori.
Yeah.
I think his name, I don't even know what the other guy is. Savinho? Whatever.
Savinho,
Yeah, he looked like he had him on toast in that first half, especially within the first 20. And then, man, we got back into it. And then,
disaster struck once again.
Yeah, basically, man.
Bro, I agree with you completely, bro. In that opening sort of 15-minute span, it was a masterclass from City. Now, I think, like when it comes to like Arsenal's start as of late, more often than not, we've been on the up hand. I think what's tended to happen is sort of the 25-minute mark onwards is when we start to maybe see the game balancing out a little bit. We saw it against Wolves where they had like 65% possession, like from the 30-minute onwards mark. We saw the same thing against Brighton where we started off blistering. We don't take any chances. And then before, they start to get comfy and they start playing out. I feel like it was the exact game, but this time we're on the side where, from the 20-minute mark onwards, you can just start feeling like the players are getting comfy. But at the beginning, bro, first of all, we've got to stop and, we'll discuss Calafiori in more detail. But, bro, this guy's straight out of FIFA 2005, man. From his gait, from the way he runs, like the trim.
Celebration.
This guy's from 05, bro. He's an absolute throwback. And I think that's why the fans have instantly taken to him, man. None of this modern shit.
He's got the CC about him as well. Like, not only just like the tackles as the old school defenders, but like it's like a duck to water when it comes to playing on the ball. Like, bro, he's at the Etihad. He receives it. He plays all the right passes. He's good in tight areas. Like, there's no nerve. It doesn't seem like there's any nerves about him. Maybe he was a bit off the mark in terms of his fitness because he hasn't been playing well. Obviously, he was out with injury and he didn't really have a preseason. So the beginning of the season had been a bit blurry for him. But, bro, we can't talk about him and not talk about that goal. What a goal! Oh my days.
We always complain, especially me. I know I always complain about the lack of long shots in general in the league. Yeah, it's been a trend that we've been noticing, and it's a trend that really it kind of summed up this game in many ways. Yeah, because Calafiori, not only does he take like a long shot, but that kind of in swinger, yeah, that's something I haven't seen for eons. It feels like I haven't seen that kind of strike in a very long time, and people are going to point out instances where it's happened. But I just feel like that kind of technique, yeah, because it's such a low percentage shot, and we're just driven by the fucking statisticians and the nerds these days. It's just been coached out. If it's a low percentage shot, we'll never take it. And I feel like, yeah, that's probably one of the few times you see this guy do it, because as he carries on in the Prem and Arsenal, bro, that's going to eventually get coached out of him. But just for a moment, bro, it was just like I was teleported back to Fabio Grosso and Luca Toni and all these kind of man, yeah, and that kind of culture of ball, man. But
I love this celebration as well. The way he just ran up to Arteta and he was going crazy, like passion, like proper Italian celebration, isn't it?
FIFA celebration, bro. It's a FIFA celebration. When a goal, you've scored a mad goal, you run straight towards the coach. He was, bro. He was. I think. Am I there? Oh, my shit just went on another page. He was on toaster at the beginning, bro. And I mean, for the goal, the first one, I have no complaints about. We just got absolutely torn apart. Savinho does a little drop of the shoulder, cuts inside, drives in. That gap is missing. Haaland never gets the opportunity these days, it feels like, to literally like request it, first class postage stamp right here, and he got the opportunity to do it. And at that moment,
but do you know what? Yeah, for all the props that Saliba and Gabriel get, and deservedly so. You know that I feel like even when Savinho took the touch inside and he done Calafiori, I feel like there was still a moment where Gabriel and Saliba could have just closed it, but they just gave it. I don't know why there was so much time for him to play that pass in between.
It feels like exactly how Brighton scored as well. Like it was a moment against the run of play where the parting of the seas was very evident. And I feel like sometimes, because when we're in such control, the centre backs kind of, they're on their own side. You know what I'm saying? They've got their little units on the left hand and the right hand side. You've got that Ben White, Odegaard, Saliba combination. And it was just like a little momentary disconnect. But, you know, they're young enough for them to be like, for us to be like, all right, cool. You know, this is going to kind of sort itself out in the long run. But, you know, up until that point, bro, the momentum is building. We score an absolute worldie of a goal. I haven't seen Arsenal score for a hot minute. And then, you know, the first corner goes in from Saka. And do you remember, there was a period of time, a long period of time, before Nicola Jova, whatever his name is, came into the club, when this guy couldn't beat his first man with the cross. And it was a source of just constant frustration. More like, we knew when the corner was loading, that it was going to be nothing. And now, 100% flipped on its head that entire paradigm, That first corner he took, the one before we scored, was virtually identical. Him and Rice have just got this technique on lock now where they just drop it on the opposite flank right underneath the bar. And it just feels like okay, people keep talking about shenanigans and all this other stuff, bro. But that ball is just deadly. There's such a limited number of things you can do to stop it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to brush over about people saying the shenanigans thing, because apparently all these Prem soy boys have started to complain to the Premier League about our dark arts and whatever. But bro, do you remember it was when not last season, the season before, when Douglas Luiz scored from a corner against us?
Yes.
And one of the Villa players was literally holding Ramsdale.
Holding him down. Yeah.
And they told us, get stronger. He needs to be stronger.
Yeah.
The same thing when Leno a couple years back, against Fulham. And we didn't complain about it. We're like, oh yeah, he's weaker. He needs to do better. He needs to do better there. He needs to be stronger there. But now we're so good at it. And it's flip side, we've signed 6'3+ players. They can't take it anymore. They can't take it that we keep. We're all right, cool. We suffered from it with a couple of times, and we're like, all right, cool. If they can get away with it, we're gonna use it like on an extreme level, bro. And what just because we're good at it now, everyone's crying, bro.
Now the rules are going to change again, bro. That's the way Arsenal work. And listen, this isn't even biased. I've got to a point right now, as you guys can tell, I'm sat in the VAR offices in St George's Park or Stockley Park, whatever they call it. The boys have all gone off for their Tuesday club, and I'm holding down the fort. And I'm tired of being gaslit. I'm not going to be gaslit anymore by Howard Webb and these dorks coming on TV and trying to spin some bullshit for us about, oh yeah, he didn't send off Kovacic last season because he didn't want to ruin the game. When it's very obvious, bro. You can see the number of fouls. We're not a dirty team, but we're just constantly being painted as one. You saw the red cards to fouls committed, bro. Like, we're like half the next team. We're like half the next team, bro. So it's crazy. Like 65 fouls, and then the next guy's like 111 fouls for a red card. It's insane, bro. It's actually insane. We got to talk about the elephant in the room, or the prick in the room, shall I say? Mr. Michael Oliver. Now, a lot of the viewership might know this. Many of them won't know this. But Abdullah, can you fill our audience in on your relationship with Olivi, as you affectionately called him, prior to this?
Listen, man. This guy, in my opinion, before this game, obviously, I held him in very high esteem in the English game. I thought he was the cream of the crop when it came to the refs. Maybe it's not people would argue it's not like a big pool, or it's a high level of refereeing competition. But I thought he was. I used to always argue his case, and I used to always get gassed when he was reffing Arsenal games, because I felt like we'd always win, even if there was some past red cards and maybe some weird decisions that he's given against us. But this was the last straw for me. I can't lie, man. Even listen, I don't want it just to be like super biased and just because it's two Arsenal fans. I do think Trossard isn't like
blameless.
Yeah, like he was a bit stupid for what he did. But because you're gonna point out the Doku incident where he kicks the ball away, nothing happens. And even at the time when it first happened, I was screaming. I was like, book him, because it happened. And I don't care about this stuff. I hate the rule, but because I know that they're gonna use it to against us, they need to implement it, bro. On every exactly,
bro. At this point in the season, we're the only team who've been fouled, who've been penalised for kicking the ball away. Like in the entire league, we're the only team who've had a yellow card for kicking the ball away, right? And we see week in, week out. We saw Oliver refereeing the Liverpool game last week, and there was a longer gap between the whistle and Szoboszlai kicking the ball, and there was no booking for that instance. Now, not only that, right, but I think at that point in time, we'd already played longer than the allocated time. Now, I know it's up to the referee's discretion, and we'll come to the overall minutes played of the game, because a really interesting fact is Sunday's game, the second half, he added the minutes on, and then he played extra minutes, and they calculated that it was already, at the time of extra time, the most the ball has been in play in a Premier League game all season, right? Mm-hmm. Right? So 20 teams have played 5 games each, and it's the most it's been in play. So it felt like, that game was going to go on until the 115th minute of the game. And it felt like they were just going to carry the game on until they scored. I think, for the whole, it's like rugby and NFL and all the other sports, they need to start adapting some of those rules, because the magnitude of the decision and how it ruins the game compared to what the actual transgression, the foul is, it's not proportionate, bro. And so obviously, as I'm in the VAR offices, as I'm with the Pigmo guys, it's me and 10 fat middle-aged white guys from the Greater Manchester area, none of whom support the 2 biggest clubs in Manchester. I think what they should do is have like a 5-yard penalty or like 10-yard penalty, like where it's like, okay, you kick the ball away, that means you've given up an extra 5 yards. You can take the ball 5 yards further, and you can take the ball, but you kick the ball from there. That's a appropriate penalty. And then you think to yourself, you go, oh, okay, maybe I won't do that because now it's gone from being a nothing to a free kick where they can cause a threat. So it has implications in the game,
Can I ask
changing
you
the whole game.
about this? I like the idea, but what if the initial free kick was right outside the box? So what would it be inside the box if they kick it away?
Maybe an indirect free kick inside the box. I haven't worked out all the logistics of how it's going to work out yet. But, bro, I know for a fact, that in the 49th minute of the game, where it's 4 minutes at a time, whatever it is, there's a millisecond, 500th of a second between the whistle being blown in a very noisy stadium and the guy kicking it. It's very, very shades of Van Persie, Barcelona offside, bro. And then the entire game changes. And the whole reason people are pissed is because they knew historically Arsenal get a red card and we spread our cheeks like we're at a Diddy party. But all of a sudden, things have solidified. And now what happened afterwards? The narrative completely shifted. And it's not a wine session because at the end of the day, I think arguably, the draw creates more fire than the win even would have. And it's a long, long season. And I think the injustice and the anger and the siege mentality of all of it, I think is going to benefit us more than doing that job and we got the result and we can relax and all the rest of it. I think now, like, if I feel the way I feel, I imagine how those guys feel. It's gonna be way worse. They're gonna be like, fucking hell, bro, what are we gonna do? And that's just gonna just force you to go. Because what did Liverpool have to do? They have to go to another level, another stratosphere. They have to win like 25 games on the bounce to even make this like a debate, bro. So that's my take on it.
I agree, man. I agree with the. I hope the players share that notion in terms of like using all that emotion to take us to the next level. And I genuinely believe that people might say it's wishful thinking, but I believe that the draw in terms of long term for Arsenal is more beneficiary. Like I feel like listen, we still have Marino to come back, and I think he's a lot of people are going to be surprised with how much significance his him being introduced back into the team is going to introduced into the team. And Odegaard, I think, bro, like Odegaard, obviously he's one of our most important midfielders, one of the most important players, full stop. So, bro, we still got another gear to go. Everyone's complaining about, we're going away and we're playing this boring football, because they're used to us just opening up our legs and just letting everyone smash us, bro. What? So people complain about Ange, being tactically like rigid and he won't change. And then when we showed like tactical adaptability in terms of going to different grounds and playing in different styles, we're suddenly the bad guy. Like, what is this? Like,
they were praising him 9 men and going for it and shipping 3 goals against Chelsea. He's a bit, it was a little bit naive, but at the same time, man, you got to love it, mate. They went for it, you know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, for us, sitting back at a ground where Chelsea, United, Liverpool have all gone down to 10 men, us have gone down to 10 men and got absolutely smoked. Why? So we can get some pats on the back from Bernardo Silva.
By the way, they're killing Ange as well now. Now, they built him up just to smoke him back down.
Bro, I think what happened was it was just a natural rebound. They had 3 consecutive managers who played just AIDS football, and then they got one guy who just spreads them wide and just goes for it. And at the beginning it was nice and they're winning, blah blah. But then as soon as that new manager bounce cooled off, all of a sudden, brother, it's you have to deliver a title, and he doesn't help himself with his demeanor in the media. I think he could do some lessons in how to deal with. Sometimes with these media.
Yeah, I don't know where Igal's gone. But one guy I want to speak about before he comes back is the man of the match yesterday. And that was Gabriel. Bro, Gabriel yesterday was absolutely ridiculous. Defensively, when we went down to 10 men, and also defensively, and also on set pieces, he's just become like LeBron James. He's got that tomahawk dunk in his back pocket. The way Walker was trying to play with him, the little tippy tappy for the goal, and then he just shifted him, zoom, and then just went, bah! Insane, man. Absolutely ridiculous. Okay, I'm just looking at my internet just fell over. Okay. I'll try and keep talking. Okay. Sorry, guys. My co-host has some internet problems. Anyways, yeah. So speaking about Gabriel, bro, right now, is there any? Okay, there's two players I actually want to talk about. David Raya. Is there a better keeper in the world on form right now? Some of the saves this guy is making in the first 5 games of the season are ridiculous, honestly. Like, bro, and not only the flashy saves, but just the claim. Is there anyone in the world, forget form, anyone in the world that's better than this keeper at claiming the ball? There isn't anyone that I don't believe there's anyone better in world football at claiming the ball from cross like corners and stuff. Yesterday, he was absolutely immense. Every time City had a corner, I was just so scared about them. So yeah, guy, I was just talking about David Raya and how good he's been this season in terms of his claiming, shot stopping, distribution, penalty. He saves. Like, is there anyone in the world, any keeper in the world right now that's better than him on form? Like, he has to be in at least in the conversation of being top 3 in the world at the moment.
Bro, I mean, listen, he did the double save on Thursday, and it's already been brushed away by a record number of second half shots by the deadliest team in Europe. And bro, I know he left the stadium hobbling and stuff. And well, tomorrow night we're going to be playing, I think, an unfertilized fetus in goal. But at the same time, bro, it's just one of them ones where Teta was right again. When we got right 25 million, I was like, what are we doing, bro? Ramsdale was good enough. I don't want to buy another keeper. Yeah. And once again, I'm left eating humble pie and acknowledging this guy's on another level, man, altogether. You know
literally. Another guy I touched up upon and I wanted to come back to was the man of the match, Gabriel. And how, bro, this guy, they call him El Monstro, yeah? And, bro, there's nothing more fitting for this. He's, especially, bro, in the air, he's absolutely fake. He's so fake, insane. For the past 2 seasons, he's been the top goal-scoring centre-back in the league. And and this season, he's going to be the top scoring centre-back in the league again. He's insane.
Saliba's good in the air, but he makes Saliba look legit average. Saliba's not bad in the air, but Saliba's much more of like get the knock on kind of a guy. This guy, bro, when he takes off, first of all, I don't know what the fuck Kyle Walker was doing with that dapping up, tickling bullshit, yeah. But bro, when he was in the air, bro, I felt like the whole net he's gonna fly through the net into the stands, bro. He was like legit, just his head was in the top of the bar, bro, the underside of the bar. Ridiculous.
If you look at the still motion, it was so sick because he left Kyle Walker's left chasing him, and then Gvardio was just under the post and he slammed up, like he dunks on him, posterized both of them. It was so sick, and then he just runs to the fan. He's a monster.
Nobody can stop him, and nobody can say shit because Ben White wasn't even on the pitch, like to do the stuff they usually say. And yeah, man, it was. I just can't wait until February, brother. I can't wait until we get them at the carpet.
Bro, that's what, going back to Gabriel and what links back to what you were saying. Like, if you look back at them, they just scored their equalizer. They're going crazy. Yeah. By the way, everyone was criticizing us for last season going and getting a draw at the Etihad.
We're
celebrating, and then they've gone and they're doing knee slides and whatever. But whatever. Their players post game talking about whining, moaning, X, Y, and Z. Gabriel, when they asked him about Haaland throwing the ball at the back of his head, he goes, "Yeah, it's calm, man. Like, it's part of the game, part of war. We'll be waiting for them back at ours in February, innit?" And I love that. There's no whining, no crying. Come, if that's what you're.
Bernardo Silva gave 6 interviews, 6 separate interviews on why we didn't spread cheeks to them like Liverpool did and all these kind of guys.
Bro, it's not only him. There was the whole squad. Kyle Walker had something to say. Akanji had something to say. Haaland had something to say.
All
Bernardo.
that, brother, and we all know how that ended up, man. So he needs to recognize. We got a comment in from, I don't want to butcher this, 3-4 Tiny or Destiny or however it's supposed to be pronounced. Rise has been clutch for us. Calafiori in his debut, massive impact. I'd like to say Timber right back as well was impressive. I think if Timber stays on and doesn't get cramped, we win that game. I think it was a momentary lapse in judgment. And the follow-up comment is, what would you pick for left back and right back? Man, Rudy, I'll let you go first for that one. I want to hear what your thoughts are.
It's so hard. It's so hard. I'm not gonna lie. Listen, for me, I think for Martinelli's sake and just for the balance of the left side, which has been suffering for a couple since Jack has left, I think Calafiori is so cold. I want him to start playing as soon as he's fit again.
Mm-hmm.
The tough one is the right side. I think Timber might be the better, just if you look at empirically in terms of ability, he might be the better player. But there's something that Ben White, you can't, it's just his whole attitude, everything about him is great. It's hard to replace. But yeah, I'll let you just have your piece now.
Bro, for me, like the two guys, Timber's probably made a bit more of a case for himself. They've got to duke it out for the left-hand side, and also that Timber's always got the opportunity of just being that utility player across multiple positions, including defensive midfield if we're super, super light. Mm-hmm. But for me, personally, my favorite player in the entire club and my first name on the team sheet every single game is Ben White. It's Ben White, it's Ben White, it's Ben White. Ben White, is that troop that you need. Yeah, the ultimate soldier. Even at the end, when the whole Be Humble Haaland stuff was happening, he was the guy who was squaring up to Haaland. Yeah. and he comes on, he's got a knee injury. It's probably worse than being reported because this guy doesn't disclose. He's one of those guys that he would get captured as a prisoner of war and they'd be torturing him and he would give no secrets. Because he doesn't tell what's going on. You don't know, his legs hanging off.
What's so funny about him, he looks like he's not supposed to be that type of player, if you know what I'm saying.
He looks soft. He's like, I saw an outfit from the summer when he was like wearing some sort of cardigan.
Sailor.
Some transparent cardigan, and he's got like these Love Island tattoos and the spray tans on a bit too much, and the beard and goatee combination's a bit of a lover boy flex. But you get that guy on the pitch, bro, and he is SAS, bro. He's military grade. I'm keeping that motherfucker there all day long. I don't care about other guys. I don't care how amazing they are, bro. I'm keeping him. Keeping him. He's earned his way, man.
Yeah, Hundo, man, Hundo. But
yeah, man. Look, so I think we've covered the Arsenal game. We've got Bolton tomorrow, I think, on Wednesday, and I'll be skipping that game, to be quite frank with you. As I'm hoping most of our players will. But we've got to talk through, I guess, a few of the other fixtures that took place. The games I watched in their entirety. I'll kick off with, obviously, the early kickoff on Saturday afternoon was Chelsea. We missed out last week, and I've got to apologize to our boy Sammy for not covering them. They went away to West Ham and won very, very comfortably 3-0. I haven't watched that game. I've got to just say, man, I think West Ham are fucked, bro. I don't think this guy's going to last long. I don't think this guy's going to last long at all, man. When you're making Nicholas Jackson look like Didier Drogba, the writing's got to be on the wall. What do you think?
I saw there was the print that a lot of the Chelsea fans online, they were quite annoyed with the actual official Premier League website because they had an article saying this game was not won by Chelsea but more lost by West Ham due to the tactical decisions. I think I agree to a certain extent, but I would say it's a bit harsh on Chelsea. And I hate Chelsea, and I always don't give them credit.
Yeah,
but I can't lie that I watched a bit of the game. Obviously, you watched the full game. I didn't watch the whole game. I saw a bit of the highlights, and you know what, Jackson, he's surprised me in terms of like his numbers this season, like in the opening games of the season. And I thought Chelsea would find this before they played the game. When I looked at the fixture, I genuinely thought they wouldn't, because they usually go to West Ham and they lose or draw. West Ham away is Chelsea's bogey team. They never win there. So I can't lie, you gotta give them a bit of props for coming away with the 3 points and scoring 3 goals as well, man.
Bro, all credit to Jackson. The one thing I think he does really well, he's a bit shoddy when it comes to the finishing, and he kind of crowds his work a little bit, but the timing and the frequency of his runs, if you have good wingers and creative midfielders, will always give you a chance, bro, because he's quite quick. He's not like blisteringly fast, in my opinion, but he's a quick player, but he's got very intelligent runs, and I think Chelsea fans actually do genuinely like him, bro. Like, I know he's got a contract until Yom of the Yama by the looks of things. Bro, you've extended this guy 3 times, bro. He arrived last season. I saw the other day Fabrizio Romano say his contract's going on until 2033, bro. That is absolutely fucking mental. He's going to be a Chelsea player long after he retires, man, by the looks of the paperwork. I know a lot of the players here at Chelsea have got long-term contracts here, but whatever's going on with this one is they need to invest that. They need to investigate. I'm in the office right now. I'm going to tell them, like, what is going on with this contract, guys? This is nuts. Somebody's got to pipe up. And who's doing their due diligence here? But they got him, and they got obviously Cole Palmer back on his.
Oh, that finish was beautiful, by the way. The Palmer one. I can't lie. As a Palmer hater,
technical ability, man. He has got technical ability.
Bro, the way he bent it on the inside of that post, man, it was I can't lie, it was a beautiful finish, man.
But bro, I think the big mistake they made, because I think they were playing Alvarez in like defense at one point in the game, and they're playing that Mavropanos guy. Yeah, bro, it was a baffling decision at the time. Even more baffling now that they let Kurt Zuma go. I know he was like not as like good, but bro, he is still levels ahead of everyone else. Kilman's still going to take some time to adapt, but I just think, bro, like the whole 5 at the back malarkey, bro, that they're playing around with Rodriguez and Paqueta in midfield. I'm not a big fan of it. And that midfield, there's no strikers. They got Kudus, Bowen, and Somerville. All 3 of them are wingers / attacking midfielders at best. And bro, for me, it's just a bit of a mismatch, bro. I think with that guy who's also a scrub, Lopetegui, bro. Lopetegui, I always call him, bro. He's already going to be facing the coach from the Dildo brothers, or the Dildo brother, obviously.
Do you know what? First goal was ridiculous, man. I remembered it. I just remembered it now. When Jackson just runs at them, it's like, and what's his name? Alcaraz, bro. That guy, Alcaraz. He's running. He's like running in cement, bro. He was so slow, bro. And then Jackson just slots it between what's his name's legs, bro. It was such a dead goal, bro.
He's an absolute slug, bro. But yeah, man, Chelsea are they in 2nd place or 3rd place at the moment? They've made a decent start considering all the turmoil and this guy going all Alan Sugar and trying to fire everyone. But
the manager's so funny, man.
He's hilarious.
Did you see what he said about Mudryk? I think it was yesterday.
Yeah, he said this guy doesn't want to change. Misha's Misha, and bro, he's out the door. He's out the door, bro.
No, you have to pose that journalist asked him, "Oh, do you think Misha and like Mudryk's down on confidence?" He's like, "No, I just think Misha's Misha." He didn't want to give him no excuse. He's just basically, this guy's dead, bro. You can tell he don't rate him at all, bro.
But listen, we'll see how that strategy works out, man. Where they buy every young kid in Europe to try and find the next Messi. And I think I think a lot of other teams who could actually coach players are going to eventually benefit off these guys, as we have done so far.
Yeah.
But yeah, as Sammy, who is in the comment section. We do love Sammy. Sammy says Mudryk is so dead. I love the manager is admitting it. And I agree. Yeah. Sometimes I think it tanks the players' values when you're trying to sell them. But I also think, that he's in the mode right now where he doesn't really give a shit about the owner's money. And he's just trying to make sure that everyone knows these guys are dead and I won't deal with it. So fair play to him for doing that. Yeah. But we've talked probably a bit too much about Chelsea considering how much we loathe them. Moving swiftly on, the upset of the week. Or the weekend, I'm not sure if you'll agree with me. It has to be said, Newcastle losing 3-1. Admittedly, Newcastle are away, but 3-1 to Fulham. And you got to admit, like the Khans are going to be like a crackhead right now. You got any more of those Hill End rejects?
Oh,
Because
man, Fulham have started well, man. Like in relation to all due respect to Fulham, they've had a good start. Like
very good start.
Smith Rowe can't stop getting his GA, whether he's assisting or he's scoring.
It will be too.
Sorry? Oh, yeah, of
It
course.
will
Be, yeah. And even Roos Nelson's propped up with a few goals here and there. R9, as we call him.
R9. No, I'm happy for him. Also, as you guys know, I felt like there was a place for him at Arsenal, especially with Fabio Vieira going back to Porto on loan. But it doesn't surprise me at all that he's going to ball out. The only thing that's going to surprise me is if he's fit the whole season and who's going to snap him up afterwards. Because I think he's got a bit of Newcastle £70 million about him. I think he's all like maybe not go straight back to the top four, maybe go the tier beneath. I hope he doesn't end up at the Chelsea Wonder Kid project, but he's probably too old now. But yeah, man, Newcastle, who also themselves been having an impressive start to the season results-wise, even though the ball has not been flowing like it can do with the players that they have, go down 3-1, and then we move swiftly on to probably the most boring game of the weekend, I would say. The only, and I'm gonna have to double check to make sure.
I'm gonna before we get. I don't want to talk about them first, bro. Let's talk about. There's Liverpool. There's Tottenham. We're not gonna talk about 0-0.
You're right. They would be last on the match of the day order. So let's talk about Liverpool next. Liverpool were at home back at Anfield after a humbling loss to Nottingham Forest. And in my opinion, their easy run to the season continues. It's so far for me, we have to see them against tougher teams to see how this team is gonna adapt. But they played.
They did have a hairy moment. Like the Liverpool fans, they've been saying even against Milan, they start games quite not
at the races. Not at the races. Yeah, you're right. Because within the opening 5 minutes, Bournemouth had a goal disallowed. The Bournemouth in the first 20 minutes, bro, were probing and were prodding, and it felt kind of a bit like Southampton against United last week, where they did have moments where if they had scored, you just felt the game was going to become a different game. But the man who probably after Erling Haaland is the most in form in the league at the moment, Mr. Luis Diaz, ever since he got his dad back, has found his roots. His dad got released from the favelas of Barranquilla. He's found his shooting boots, and within, I think, the span of maybe 2 minutes, bro. This guy had bagged a brace, and the second one was very, very nice, very nice.
Kepa had a bit of a stinker, man, bro. Like the first one, he was that, bro. What is he doing? Even for the second one, why is he coming? Where was he going? He just ran out of his goal. Is that when you hold triangle on FIFA and the guy just runs?
Bro, at this point, Kepa is Kepa, bro. You know where you're getting with this guy, but it must be a bit of a head spin for him, bro. He's like the orphan child, and he's like last season he's chilling around Madrid. He's enjoying that life. He's living it up, and the very next moment he's picking up fish and chips in Bournemouth. And, it's just a bit of a head spinner, but yeah, man, they put an effort forward. I'm surprised the English media aren't praising them more for not just sitting back and trying to go after Liverpool. But that is what they did. They tried to go after them and they got hit on the break, and then obviously capped off at the end by a Darwizi wonder goal. I don't know if you saw
this
the
guy. I don't know how his brain works. Even Arnie Slot, I don't know if you watched how he speaking about the goal. It's like this guy. He I swear he thinks of football in his own world, bro.
I'll tell you exactly how he thinks of football, bro, and it is summed up by the Gattuso quote: "Sometimes it may be good, and sometimes it may be shit." And that's basically it, bro. He doesn't go for the ordinary; he exclusively goes for extraordinary attempts. And it's not going to win you a title, more than likely, but it is going to win you like fans. They're going to be like, he's one of these guys. He's like Giroud, he's like them guys here who 10 years down the line, you're going to look at their goal comp and think this guy was one of the fucking waviest ballers of all time. And sometimes the league needs that in a league which has become over peppified we do need some guys who just launch it from 30 yards out when they've got no right to. Because that's what Slot said. Slot was like, I was thinking, please don't take a shot from there, and it's not a good, it's a low percentage effort. And then he took it and he scored, and I was like, yeah, probably I'm not as good at football as you are. So you got to have some balls to admit that at times,
Yeah, man. But bro, as well, one more player I want to talk about at Liverpool is Gravenberch, man. He's still. I thought, okay, give him a few games, but bro, that role is looking like it's suiting him very, very nicely, man. He's looking very, very good.
It's him. He's got the IQ for it, man. Like he's been a wonder kid forever, and I don't think he's got exactly what's required to be like the box to box or like the creative midfielder. But in terms of his IQ and his pass selection, which is improving. And we're seeing it week after week now. He is like, he's like a duck to water so far, man.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, Liverpool are, I think, away to Wolves next, which will be an interesting game because, as it currently stands, a guy we rate very highly on this pod, Gaz O'Neill, hasn't had a nice start to the season.
Yeah, man. Wolves, they don't know how to defend, bruv.
That's because they play three wingers in their back line.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, what do we want when you got Nelson Semedo, Ike Nouri, who's the other guy? I can't remember what his name is, but they play another guy who's like a flamboyant, flary defender.
Yeah. Speaking of Wolves, they did play Villa, who have had a crazy good start to the season. I think they've had one loss, and that's to us. Have they dropped points anywhere else? I can't remember them.
4 wins, 1 loss. They're currently third in the table.
Yeah, man, they're looking good, man. I can't lie, they're looking very good. And John Duran, he comes on and
Duran. Bro, he's the guy where I like for the fantasy players in there. I don't know how much of a debate it's been for you, but like you're not going to get the points for him starting, but you're going to gamble on him scoring every week.
Yeah,
it's one of those.
I had that.
And bro, I've got to be honest with you. And normally I'm on top of these kind of things, but where in the flying fuck did they find this guy, bro? Where was he before? Was he not in the Chicago Fire?
Yeah, that's the only reason. The only reason I was seeing these at United pages back in the day, their scouts were saying that they were telling the board just pay 10 million and bring him in, and they passed up on him. And now look at him.
I'm looking at his stats right now. Yeah, he started at some club in Colombia called Envigado. Yeah, and then he went to the senior team Envigado. 47 appearances in the league, 9 goals for Envigado. Yeah, and then 27 games for Chicago Fire. He scores 8 goals in MLS. He comes to Prem, and this season alone, he's on 4 goals in 6 games for them. He's exploded. Admittedly, he was on like the 60 best young talents to watch in like 2020 or some shit. So I feel like people have kind of maybe known about him like from an FM standpoint. But I think the gamble on bringing him in and for him to kind of repay that, because I think they paid like, it's looking like 14 million plus 3 million add-ons, which is, I mean, the Premier League club, you can kind of gamble these kind of numbers. It's not really a ridiculous sum, but
Chelsea should have paid that extra 5 mil and just brought him in, man.
Yeah, bro, they've got another 10 players still in the womb, bro, that they've already signed. At some point, you got to just kind of admit that there's a bit of overcrowding going on. You know what I'm saying? If they buy any more players, bro, they won't have any tickets to sell their fans.
I think he was the better. He would have been the better purchase than João Felix, man.
Not even João Felix, bro. That John Davro bullshit guy who was at whatever his name is, bro. The guy who's at Burnley.
Fofana, I think.
Fofana. They got Fofana. They still got the Albanian guy. What's his name? Broha. He's still there. They've got
so many players. That's crazy.
They still got David Washington. They've got that Ecuadorian guy coming through. He's like and then they signed that Brazilian wonder kid who's like the number 1 talent in Brazil. He's still coming through.
Yeah, they've got so many.
Bro, if you can think of a winger that plays football right now and you have to flip a coin, there's 50% chance they are a Chelsea player. I wake up sometimes and I have to remind myself whether or not I'm a Chelsea player. Or I have to report it to Cobham this morning. Have I forgotten? Who knows, bro? They've just literally gone out and bought everything. And so what are we going to do, bro? But we've somehow managed to find our way back to Chelsea. moving on from the Villa performance. I mean, they came back from 1-0 down, 73rd minute. I think Watkins, Konza, and Duran scored.
Yeah.
So yeah, Villa in third place, looking very, very cushy. No signs of the Champions League having too much of an impact yet, although it's just started. Next up on the agenda, next team I want to kind of chat about here, back to winning ways, is one Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah.
Very brief. We've got about 30 seconds on the clock.
I mean, yeah, what is that set out, bro? Mbuemo's goal. I don't know if you've seen it.
Let's see it, bro. You know my thoughts on him and Wissa.
Yeah. Mbuemo, that goal, it was a bro. Probably goal. Nah. Calafiori's goal of the week, but sorry.
No, it was beautiful. Technically, but, Mbuemo, yeah, is a guy just waiting for that move. He's a bigger talent in Brentford than Tony was.
Yeah,
this guy is a crazy player.
You know what's crazy though? When you look at him, and they tell you he's 24, and you're like, really?
I didn't see where he was born. Born in France, or was he born somewhere else and then came to France? I don't know. Once I see that, then we're able to kind of do some DNA testing and figure out the age and that kind of shit. Then we'll kind of know what the crack is.
You know what he reminds me of? And I don't want the Liverpool fans to kill me for this. And I don't want the football fans to kill me for this. I'm not saying he's on his level. But remember, Salah was a late-ish bloomer. Yeah? And Salah, on the ball, when it comes to dribbling, he's not the easiest on the eye. Yeah? And he's an inside forward. He's a numbers man. Salah was rapid. Yeah? He just got that Salah-esque, I don't know, like, just...
I think, what you've just done there is you lined it up perfectly, because if they do get rid of Salah and they are on the market for a right winger, I think that's the guy they have to go out and get, man. Personally, that's my 2 cents. I think he's the man that they should go and get. I think most clubs who are looking for a right winger should be going for. Bro, imagine if I mean, look, the only thing about him is he's too good to just be like a Saka understudy, and I know Saka needs a break. But he needs like a guy who's like either older than him and willing to accept a role, or he needs a guy who's younger than him who can kind of step up and learn. I don't think he needs a guy who's neck and neck, who's like this kind of shit. And for me, like, the guy represents too much to the club to even consider demoting his position, even though, like, at the moment he's kind of living off set pieces, because he was, once again, I know he came off at half-time. Last couple of games, you know, he gets a lot of leeway compared to Martinelli, because Martinelli he's another defensive dog. But stinker at Atlanta, in my opinion. Stinker at Atlanta. Kind of went under the radar. But
go on.
No,
I was just going to say he didn't get a lot of the ball, to be fair to him. I think he had the least touches on the pitch against
at City?
No, Atlanta.
Well, City makes sense because fucking Timber got 0 passes off in the entire game. I know his the second half kind of glosses over that, but I don't know, man. I think guys do need to work on passing every now and then. But yeah, man, I think that's about enough time on Spurs. They won. Their new guy scored. Maddison scored, and Brennan Johnson continues his redemption arc after 1 week of getting some naughty messages on. Oh no, they don't like me. And all of a sudden he starts bagging goals, and now everyone's supposed to kiss his ass for this. A week. I want to see like an Aaron Ramsey arc of where this guy's getting abused for 2 years, and people are sending, death threats to him on Instagram, and then he comes back from the ashes, bro. Somebody's been mean to you for a week and sent you like a monkey emoji. You just gotta fucking live with it, bro. It's the world we live in, sadly. You know what I'm saying? If Mark Zuckerberg ain't gonna change it, then what am I gonna do? You know what I'm saying? What am I gonna do about it?
I ain't got nothing to do with this take.
Every now and then I send him 1 or 2 Saka just to give him a little extra motivation. I'm joking. We'll move that one in the edits. Even though this is
nice.
Let's
get past it.
Moving swiftly on from that, there's not many other matches really to touch on that anybody truly gives a shit about. I think a lot of the stuff is background noise. Brighton versus Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest, 8th place.
That was a good game, actually. You know, I didn't really catch the highlights, but I saw what was going. Well, I caught the highlights. I didn't catch the game, bro. Welbeck scored a free kick. First of all, that the first place was just a bit mad. I was like, I didn't even know he had that in his bag. And then the red cards at the end. Then the, there was a chance for that Sosa guy to win it at the end, and he bottled
Yes,
it.
he bottled that one badly, man. He bottled that one badly. But Nottingham Forest, as it stands, opening five, 2 wins, 3 draws, currently undefeated, 8th place. Brighton on the exact same, 2 wins, 3 draws, virtually identical in everything apart from goal difference. And it was just a proper mid-table scrap. Hinchelwood scored a decent goal. Gibbs White getting a straight red in the 83rd minute of the game. And then Wele, who I would normally support, but after that bullshit he pulled against us, he can go and rot in hell as well. But he did bag a free kick. So
Yeah.
I guess we do have to acknowledge that he did something. And he made out of the game, presumably uninjured. But then again, who knows? He could have tripped up on the stairs on the way out. Another lame. There's a couple of other lame duck games that it would have collectively, jointly finished last in the match of the day runnings.
Yeah, let's talk about Man United, man.
Man United. Well, listen,
Yeah.
we'll talk about United, we'll talk about Manchester United. They go to what is a bogey ground for them, undoubtedly in Selhurst Park.
Yeah.
And they had the bulk of the possession. They're passing, they're popping it about. I watched that game. They're popping it about. The passes were connecting, but I mean, it was signs, positive signs. I think probably
First half.
Mhm.
I think the first half they were good, man. They should have scored at least a goal. Like Garnacho hit the bar, Bruno then hit the bar. The Garnacho was in, and he should have maybe finished a bit better. They had some decent chances, man.
Controversial opinion. I know they won 3-0 last week in Southampton, and I watched that game. But I think this was their best performance so far this season. That Crystal Palace game in terms of
maybe you're probably right.
I said they played. They didn't like at Southampton, bro. Honestly, that penalty goes in from Archer. We're looking at a completely different game, and Southampton had plenty of chances in the beginning. Obviously, once the first goal goes in, it's a different game, and we can look at it with hindsight. But in the moment, the way they were popping around and the confidence they were playing with and the chances they were creating, I think this is their best performance so far. Who else talking? I mean, that's really about as much we can give a 0-0 in terms of analytics for a team that we actually.
The only thing is though, before we move on, Glasner, he did start with 3 at the back and it wasn't working. He took a player off. He put Jefferson Lerma into midfield in the second half, and the game flipped. And Eze, by the way, that second half, Man United were a bit on the ropes. Onana made a worldy double save. We got
amazing save,
Eze should have won that game for Palace in the second half, man. He had 2 solid chances, and he shut himself, bro. He didn't put them away.
Agreed. No, I'm fully with you on all of that. I think the mistake to solve the 3 back. I don't think they should. I think Jefferson Lerma is probably the best player. He's very good player, bro. For Palace, bro, especially the way they like to play. He's a very good player.
That guy. Remember they signed a guy a couple years back. His name's Decore, CDM. Liverpool are even linked, and he's very highly rated, but he fell off the face of the earth, bro. Where is this guy?
I think he's got a touch of the Malassias, bro. He's one of these guys who just fell into the upside down, man. Because I think he's still there. Chica Decore. Which is, I think maybe 97% of men from Mali are called that, so it doesn't really narrow it down. But he's made a couple of appearances this season. I think 1 off the bench, 2 starts. But man, he's another guy who I don't know if he's crocked. I don't know what's going on with him, but he's a talented player. And on United, I mean, obviously they're playing in the Europa League that kicks off tomorrow against FC Twente, which is, I believe, one of Ten Hagenstein's former clubs, right?
Yeah, he was like, he was saying in his press conference, I would have rather not played a team that I don't want to hurt something I love.
Listen, if you love your job, you better hurt them.
They got Tottenham at home on the weekend, though. That's a big game.
Tottenham next, 7:30. Tottenham, El Midico, which we'll be tuning into. We might even do a live stream because that's as hate watchers get, you know.
And it's a good game. They always have. Recently, they've always had like decent games.
Yeah, somebody gets walloped, and it's usually a fun watch for the neutral. You know, we're not really neutrals in this. I want it to be like seeing from the Dark Knight. They know the football game where Bane does a thing and the whole football. That's what I want to see, bro. I want to see the ground just go boom, and then all of Old Trafford go down, and it's an insurance job from the Glazers. Insurance job from the Glazers because they realise how much the new Old Trafford's going to cost. That'd be so good, yeah. But we're looking forward to that one, bro. It's gonna be a trash game, but we'll save every moment of those. And yeah, to round it off, I mean, we've got two of probably the most garbage games we're going to see all season. We had Southampton versus Ipswich Town, which finished 1-1. And we got two guys who scored there that, for the life of me, if you showed me them right now, I wouldn't be able to tell you who they were.
I respect Sam Morsi. He's an Egyptian legend. Well, not Egyptian legend.
We got Tyler Dibbling. We have a quick look at Tyler Dibbling. That's how I expected Tyler to look, to be honest. And then 95th minute, right at the very, very death of the game, we got Mr. Sam Morsi, who comes on. I'm sure what's that short for? Samantha Morse? What's his name? Anyways, Tyler Dibbling. Bro, Tyler Dibbling looks exactly on my mum's life. If I had to just close my eyes and draw Tyler Dibbling out to the trim, I would have got him spot on. It would have been like I was one of those, the guys who go to court and do the sketch, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it would have been like, no, oh my God, that's Tyler Dibbling. The police guys. He was 6'3", and he had brown hair with a side parting, and he had a few acne marks on his face, and he was born in Exeter in the United Kingdom. I was like, bing! I even got his hometown right. But Sam Morsi, I would never be able to guess. Sam Morsi, and we should know better. Sam Morsi kind of looks like what I expected, to be honest with you. He's got a fade from Shepherd's Bush, and he plays football for the Egyptian national team. We wish him well. But yeah, man, that was it. That was a game that I don't think is going to be replayed on Premier League years anytime soon. It might be the last.
Everton got their first dub, though.
That was what I was going to close off with, man. I was going to close off with the mighty. No, they didn't get a dub, bro.
Did they not win?
No, bro. Mavidi scored in the 73rd minute of the game.
Oh my God, these guys can't win.
No. I was going to say they would, but then no, they didn't. They didn't win, bro. I was going to say.
You're right. It was 1-1. We know what we should do. We should have a segment every roundup show. Did Everton win this week?
Daily Everton. Well, we just in the world of Everton today, another billionaire backed out of buying them after looking at their books, and their stadium continues on as per usual. Did they win though? Which is the most important thing. Did they win? And the truth of the matter is, they did not. No,
did they lead? Were they leading?
They were leading from the 12th minute to the 73rd minute. It was a full hour of leading, which is probably more than they were used to. But what I will tell you is, in really unfathomable news, right, this is something that I never ever anticipated would happen. Unprecedented, unforeseen. Irogan Bunman did not stop the game. Irogan Bunman came off the bench, which, I mean, blew my mind. We've got AA in the comments, and he said, what kind of likeness is that? Well, I mean, it's Tyler Dibbling is what it is. And then he followed up by saying, Daesh has got the bag now. Second half of the season, we're doing a title charge. I don't know if he's talking about, I assume he's talking about Everton.
Yeah, he is.
If he does believe that, I mean, I've got a bridge to sell him. To tell him. But yeah, look, bang on the hour mark here. We can time something better than Mike Oliver. We're going to bid you a firm farewell. Don't worry, boys. The TikTok's coming back. The Instagram's going to go live. The the Twitter is going to get a blue check soon, and we're going to start chatting our shit to millions and millions. And the podcast, we're cooking up something right now. Meds, Baz, Issa are in a sweatshop under a studio in Edgware, and they're coming up with concepts. So yeah, man, I assume at some point in the coming days there'll be some activity. But thank you for joining us. Thank you for commenting and subscribing and liking. Share it with your mum, share it with your dad, share it with your nan. All that stuff.
Goodbye.